What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another deck profile. Today we're talking about Invoker 17 once again. This is a deck that I actually won locals with last night, so I wanted to talk about it with y'all and let you know how it can kind of fight the current meta and actually put up a good fight, have a good chance. To be fair though, I did dodge green Gohan. We do have green Gohan players at locals. I did not play against any last night, fortunately. But yeah, anyways, let's get into the deck profile. Um, we got Android 17. He's a warrior of U7, which means we ignore specified costs on U7 battle cards. This does not ignore specified skill costs, however. Just something to note. When this card attacks, you draw a card, and then the first time you charge a red-blue multicolor card, you get to untap it, and then negate the skill for the game. Your Awaken is when you have a Z card with 2 or more, or 4 or less, and you draw one, untap one, go down to 6. Other side is also a Warrior of U7. Auto, once per turn, when you play, attack with, or activate blocker on a U7 Z battle card, specifically, you draw a card. That is the only draw power you get on this side of the leader, so it is very important that we keep our Z battle cards in play and try to benefit off that draw. Auto once per turn, discard a Deadly Clash from your hand when you use Arrival to play a red-blue multicolor battle card. Choose up to one of your U7 cards with Arrival, and it gains Barrier for the turn. So we get to give our Arrival target Barrier by discarding a Deadly Clash, which is one of the multicolor extra cards we play. We'll put the leader off to the side for now. We'll actually go over the Z deck first, because the Z deck's the heart and soul of the deck. So turn 1, we're probably playing a cantrip and comboing it off. Either defensively or aggressively if we're worried they might pop it before we can combo it, because we don't run a lot of 5Ks in the deck, so it's important that we use that for Z energy. But yeah, anyways, we're playing 3 of the Gohan Daring Onslaught and 3 of the Impeccable Defense Android 17. Gohan has Deflect. So against most decks you're fine. We do have a side deck card against green to help us against Charismatic. And then Android 17 has Barrier and Blocker. He's a 3-cost 25k that when it's played, it can't be KO'd in battle for the turn. And our Gohan allows us to play it at the start of our opponent's turn by tapping 1 red energy and basically swapping them. So on our turn 2, going into our opponent's turn 2 or turn 3, we'll have 2 free blocks on a 25k body that can't die via battle. That just can't be KO'd. So they have to be able to warp through Barrier in order to kill this card, or negate its Barrier and deal with it. It's very hard to deal with this card. Most games are going to start by playing 2 of these. It seems crazy, are we committing 3 energy turn 2 and 3 energy turn 3? Most of the time, yes, because we're allowed to. But yeah, we play the full 3-3 because we want to have the option to grind out long games, and like I said, this is our entire draw engine, so we really want to keep these in play whenever possible. I did play against God Trunks last night in the finals, and he black smoked 2 of these away, and I still played the 3rd one, and I was able to live and have a good time despite that. Our last card, and I wasn't actually playing this card last night, I'll show you what I was playing instead, but our last card is Unthinking Onslaught Ultra Instinct Son Goku. So this guy is a Deflect Barrier dual attacker, and we can play it the same way by tapping 1 at the start of our opponent's turn with Son Gohan Daring Onslaught. So this guy, auto limit 1 if this card's in rest mode. You discard a card from your hand. When you use a red skillless battle card in a combo, choose up to one of your cards that gets 5k for the turn. So we have a way to combo with cards and make them skillless. So his effect will proc. We'll be able to just pitch a card to bean our leader usually. At the end of our turn, he restands, so we'll be able to swing twice, and then he restands, so he's pretty safe. He's a 3-drop with barrier, so they'll have to find their barrier removal to get rid of him. And activate battle limit 1 if your leader is a warrior of U7 card, and you switch this card to rest mode, and add 1 red skills battle card from your drop to your hand. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in unison as it gets -15 for the turn. We're not playing any vanillas in the deck, so that's never going to come up. It's just there to be a barrier dual attacker that puts on crazy pressure. The card I was playing instead of this last night, and I don't necessarily regret it because it helped me in a couple matchups, was Frieza Unexpected Assistance. This is a 1/1 blocker. That's a U7Z battle card. So rather than committing the 3 energy to that whole Gohan play, you can just tap 1, play this guy. You'll draw off your leader for playing it. And then if it doesn't get popped, you'll get to block with it and draw another card on your opponent's turn. It doesn't have any protection. It's just a 1-drop, so it will most often get dealt with. So I'm going to try to see how it feels without it. I was playing 3 of these at one point, and now I went down from 3 to 1, and now I'm from 1 to 0, so we'll see how it feels without it altogether. The way it did come up yesterday is I was able to bait out my opponent's Cumber SCR, and then go into my boss monster. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the main deck. I think I can just leave. I'll leave these 2 off to the side because we're going to be talking about them. Alright. So our turn 1 plays in the deck. We have 2. They're both pretty good. Ideally, we see Android 17 Calm Judgment. Calm Judgment says look at the top 5 when he's played. Get a red-blue multicolor energy cost of 6 or less. And then it has an auto that if you combo with it and there's a red card in the combo area as well, you can pitch a red-blue multicolor, draw a card. So that'll allow us to filter our hand, get rid of some of those bricky cards that aren't relevant in the matchup or just that we want in our drop for later. And yeah, hand fixing is always good. So this is our ideal turn 1. Our other turn 1 play is going to be Android 18 Selfless Savior. She has a permanent. If your leader is a warrior of U7 card and there are no copies of this card in your drop, when one of your red Android 17 cards would be removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, you can discard this card from your hand instead. So this is protection for our Invoker 17, which is our arrival piece. I should probably talk about that guy first because he's central to the deck. I'll talk about him right after this. So yeah, she can protect our 17s. She can also protect this guy, funny enough. So if I had her in my hand yesterday when I got black smoked multiple times, she would have helped. But she also has the effect to, when she's played, look at the top 5, search for a red U7 energy cost of 6 or less and add it to your hand. So she cannot grab a multicolor extra card or a multicolor U7 like 17 can. But she's still a pretty good search because we run plenty of targets. Okay, let's talk about the star of the deck. We got Android 17, the move that turns the tide. So this is an energy exhaust, double strike, arrival red-blue for 1 red, 1 blue. Permanent if your leader's a red warriors of U7 card, this card gains Invoker. When this card's played, you look at the top 5, get a red-blue multicolor, energy cost of 6 or less, and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost of 4 or less, and KO it. So you get a little removal. It's nice. Sometimes you can just do like a rival into him to stop a battle. But his activate battle is really good as well. He has a limit 1, discard 1 card from your hand, use up to 2 red and or blue cards, both with 5k combo power, and U7 from your drop in a combo with their skills negated for the turn. So that's what I was talking about with the Goku, is that when we activate his activate battle skill, he will negate these. And this becomes a red skillless battle card that we're using in a combo. So we can bean our leader when we do so. Really strong. I haven't been able to actually utilize it yet because I'm just now adding this card to the deck. But yeah, don't sleep on that interaction. That's really, really good. So this is our main dude. This is the dude that when he comes out, our leader can pitch a deadly clash to protect him, give him barrier for the turn. Our android 18 can protect him. So yeah, this is the all-star of the deck. You never want to charge this card. You keep this card off of mulligan. You want to play 2 to 3 copies of this card in a game because they're going to be doing everything in their power to get rid of it. It's that much of a problem. So yeah, these are our 2 starters, and our arrival card is Android 17. We don't actually play the Gohan in the main deck. There is another potential Invoker arrival target, which is this Gohan. I don't think he's good enough to warrant a spot in the main deck. I'm sticking to a solid 50 cards on this list. I want it to be as consistent as possible, so cuts had to be made, and Gohan just wasn't cutting it. All right, going into another mono red U7 card that can turn into a skillless card for our Goku. Friendly Rival Frieza. Now, Friendly Rival Frieza, when you combo with him, allows you to dump a red-blue multicolor, one red extra card from your deck. And that'll allow us to dump this into our drop area, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But basically, it's going to set up a lot of our plays and allow us to thin out our deck and draw into the good cards while generating Z energy, while also being a potential charge target for us. It does a lot of stuff. These are the only 12 cards that I run that are monocolor U7 cards. Besides our secret rare, but we'll get there eventually. The only other monocolor card I run is for Sensubin, because Sensubin is essential for red decks that want to play the red-blue strategy. You don't have the same luxury that blue decks do when it comes to energy manipulation with Dimension Magic and cards like that. So, yeah, Sensu's super important. I would never play less than 4. Let's get into our other comboable cards, if you will. We have 4 Beerus super combo, Divine Obliterator. He's been around forever. He's the untap 1 red blue energy when you combo with him. Just super good. Lets us set up our Invoker plays, lets us set up our rival plays into the Invoker plays. It's great. And then 4 of the Rival Seeker Son Goku. Rival Seeker's a 3 cost without deflect, unfortunately. 19k. That says permanent. If you have a red-blue multicolor extra card in your drop area, reduce the combo cost of this card in your hand by 1. So we're going to try to get a red-blue multi in our drop area pretty early, and that'll make him a free combo. It is worth noting that you do kind of juggle the multicolors in your drop area. So pay attention when you combo with him. Make sure you're not accidentally free comboing him when you don't have the requirements met. So I said we weren't playing any other arrival invokers. We are, however, playing 2 Beerus and Whis DAR. This card is busted. This card is essential. This card won me the finals yesterday. When one of your red or blue battle cards is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, play this card from your hand. You can't play a copy of this card for the turn. That only works when you have 3 or more energy. So when they finally out your 17 through the 18 and through the barrier, you get to be like, okay, cool, now here's another card for you to out. The card also has blocker, and if it doesn't die at the end of the turn, you bottom deck it and draw a card. Yeah, I can't say enough about this card. It's a minimum 2 of. 3, I think, is greedy because it does bottom deck itself, so you could potentially draw into it again after shuffling. But yeah, I think it's a solid 2 of in the deck. I wouldn't run any less, especially in a meta where we have green running around. All right, let's get into our multicolor extra card lineup, and then we'll go into our win cons. So for multicolor extra cards, first up, we have U7 Powers Combined. Powers Combined says limit 1, auto, if at the end of your turn, if you have one of these 12 cards in your energy, you get to sack it off and then place this in your energy in active mode. So this is giving us a free red-blue energy and a pseudo energy untap. It's insanely powerful. We want to mulligan for our friendly rival Friezas and our 17s. Those are our 2 mulligan targets, as well as these guys, the 1-drops. But I would charge a 1-drop on turn 1 before I would charge a Frieza on turn 1 a lot of the time, just because it's that essential to start those untaps and to get the red-blue energy that you need without having to charge energy exhausted cards. It also has an activate main battle where you choose up to one of your cards. It gets 5k for the turn, so you being your leader. And then choose up to one of your opponent's non-leader cards, and it gets minus 30k for the turn. So this is really good, because we get to just do battle tricks. It's like, oh, you're swinging with the 30k base battle card, and you dumped 50k combo on top of it. I'm just going to neg it 30, and your battle card's dead. The battle ends. So, because for newer players, combo power does not add to the card's base power. So this will kill unless you play a card like Final Flash or Seltzer with the Destroying Kamehameha that actually adds power to the base power of the card. Yeah, this card's insane. It does not go through barrier, but it does beat our leader, so that's really good. We play 4 Sleepy Boy technique. Now, Sleepy Boy, I've seen this run at like 2 in other builds. I think it's a 4 of, always. Sleepy Boy says, negate the attack, draw 2 cards, and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, return it to its owner's hand. This removes secret rares. This removes Z cards. This is just like so insanely powerful. Drawing 2 cards, I get up to like 15, 16 cards in hand playing this deck. It's so powerful to have access to this card when you need it. I don't think I would ever run less than 3. I'm running 4 right now just because I like the card that much, and I think it is the best non-activate battle Invoker card. So yeah, Sleepy Boy is just really, really good. Another older Invokers card is, extra card is Emperor's Death Beam. I'm running this at 3. There is an argument to cut this to 2 and add another of our next card, Deadly Clash. But this is one of those cards where it's like I want to see it when I need it. But after testing yesterday, I could. In fact, let's do it right now. Let's cut the 3rd Death Beam and we'll play the 4th Deadly Clash. We will put the Death Beam in the side for decks where it's going to be relevant. But I think 2 Death Beams is absolutely fine. And yeah, let me talk about what the card does. Activate main / battle. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 30 for the turn. So it does what this does, except it goes through barrier. And it doesn't bean our leader, but it goes through barrier. It also has an activate main where we can warp it from our drop area, look at the top card of our deck. If it's a red-blue extra card, add it to our hand. We're also playing 2 Royal Condemnation. Condemnation is the best counterplay in the game, I think, right now. If you can use it, obviously. It costs 1 with Invoker, just like all our other cards do. If your leader card's a U7 card, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 8 or less, it's placed at the bottom of its owner's deck instead of being played. So this can hit Gohan Piccolo. This can hit Cumber, I think. I think Cumber doesn't have Deflect. This also has the activate main to warp itself from the drop and check the top card of our deck and add it to hand if it's a red-blue extra card. The last couple red blue extra cards we run are Deadly Clash and Catastrophic Blow. So Deadly Clash is integral to the deck. I played it at 3 last night and it felt okay. You could play 3 of these. I think I'm going to stick with 4 just because I do want to be able to pitch this to give my Android 17 barrier and then have another copy in hand to actually use it the following turn. So yeah, I think I'm back to 4 Deadly Clash. I was on 3. I'm back up to 4 already. Let's talk about what this does. If your leaders are red Warriors of U7 card, you send one U7 card. This is an auto limit 1, and you send one U7 and this card from your drop to your warp. When one of your U7 cards would be removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, draw a card. So what you're supposed to do is, so the first time they try to kill your 17, you're gonna pitch Selfless Savior, protect it. Now they had another way to kill it through barrier. That's crazy. I'm gonna warp the Deadly Clash I pitched to give it barrier along with the Android 18 and draw a card. So we've removed the Android 18 from our warp. We're now able to use another copy of it to protect our next 17. And then we can play Beerus and Whis to keep our Invoker up for the turn. But let's be honest, it's very unlikely that your opponent's going to generate 2 instances of barrier removal in one turn. So this Android 17, this Android 18 protecting your 17 with barrier usually buys you another turn of having that Invoker online and having that double striker that you can Deadly Clash. So let's talk about its activated battle skill. Limit 1, if your leader card's a mono red U7 card, choose up to one of your red U7 Android 17 battle cards, switch it to active mode, and it gets 10k power for the turn, and then at the end of the turn, switch up to one of your energy to active mode. So this does everything. Let's talk about what we're going to do with this. We're going to, on our turn, swing with our 17, activate this. Now we're at 35k, double strike. Now we have the option to, if we want, pitch a card, combo with 2 5Ks, make it 45k double strike. And then we'll be swinging again for another 35k double strike. Or ideally, we're going to do it twice and they're not going to have a negate on the second one, and we'll go up to 45 on the second one after giving them 2 more cards. So they'll be more inclined to combo out and we'll sap their hand of resources. But that's neither here nor there. I'll let y'all figure out how to be good with the deck. I'm just going to show y'all how I like to build it. But yeah, 4 Deadly Clash I think is essential. I think this is really good. Don't sleep on this card. These 8 cards are the heart and soul of the deck, and they get you to a place where you can win the game. Without this engine, I don't think I win a single game yesterday. Deadly Clash put in work every round. Alright, let's look at our Catastrophic Blow. So Cat Blow says, activate main, limit 1 if you have a red-blue multicolor Son Goku card in play, or there are no battle cards in your battle area, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So we can just burn them for 1. Really good. We do play multicolor Son Goku cards, so we can put this online. It also says activate main, warp it to check the top card. Same with Death Beam, same with Condemnation. So these 5 cards will put themselves in our warp, as well as Deadly Clash, which is important because when we use Son Goku Rival Seeker to play one of our 6 drops, we need 2 extra cards in the warp. So whether it be Deadly Clash or whether it be warping these off their own skills, we do need to get those extra cards in the warp. So let's talk about Energy Explosion first. So Energy Explosion is only a 1-of because the burn route, as good as it is, shouldn't be the deck's primary win condition. I think the deck's primary win condition should always just be punch you in the face with this 17 as much as you can. When you're hitting him for 25k double strike and 25k every turn, it's insane. I don't think I mentioned also earlier, this can activate battle, switch to active mode. So you get 2 blocks off of this. Maybe I did. But yeah, it's nuts. You get to swing with this, swing with this. They swing at you. Your first attack, you activate their first attack. You activate battle, restand this, do some, I don't know, death beam maybe, powers combined maybe sleepy boy them. Something happens, and then you get to block and draw a card when you block with him. It's just so good. You get so much value off that. But yeah, let's talk about Energy Explosion. So when we play Rival Seeker, we're going to add 2 multis from our warp back to our hand, 2 multi extra cards, and play a 6-cost red-blue Son Goku on with an energy cost of 6. Choose up to 1 red-blue multicolored Son Goku card with an energy cost of 6 in your hand and play it on top of this card. So we're tapping 3, going into this. When this card is played, you kill 3 of your energy and charge 3 energy, negating their energy exhaust. So like your dead copies of 17, your old super combos, your rival seekers you comboed off, those are the ones you want to put in your energy, because we do want to save our extra cards if possible. But yeah, you get to charge up, you get the energy you paid for rival seeker right back. So we do have a combo here, which I'll show you, which we still do get to try to burn for a game, because this says auto once per turn, when one of your cards deals damage to your opponent, deal 1 additional damage to your opponent. So cat blow deals a damage. This is going to deal a second damage. So putting them from 2 to 0, really, really good, really strong. This card can put them from 3 to 0 because it has triple strike. So we have triple strike, deflect, energy exhaust, obviously. This card does not have deflect, by the way. Neither rival seeker nor energy explosion have deflect. So against decks that play cold bloodlust, for example, which I did play against Yellow Broly BR yesterday, watch out. You would want to play the deflect card instead. So yeah, you have triple strike, deflect, activate main, choose 2 red-blue multicolor extra cards from your hand or drop area, and send them to your warp. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's leader cards. It gets minus 5,000 for the turn, and then switch this card to active mode. So you're swinging triple strike, warp 2, triple strike, warp 2, triple strike, warp 2, triple strike. And the longer the game has gone, the stronger this card gets. So you're really good at playing the grindy game with this deck. Being able to just like slam an Instinct Surpassed is unreal. I actually tapped 6 for this card yesterday because I made it to 6 energy. Or no, I didn't tap. Did I tap 6? I think I was going to tap 6 and I won some other way. But yeah. Anyways, let's talk about another way we can put our opponents from 3 to 0. On turn 5, we're going to have 5 energy. We're going to pay 3 for Rival Seeker. We're going to go into Energy Explosion. We now have 6 energy live again. We're going to activate Cap Blow, burn our opponent for 2. Then we're going to tap 4 energy of our remaining 5 for our secret rare, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, Unbridled Power. Remove them from the game, burn them for their final life. So, on turn 5, we are capable. Oh, wait, no. That would be all our energy. It would be 1 for this, 4 for this. So, on turn 5, we're capable of just completely 3 to 0ing them without interaction, without a combo step, without a negate. Like, standard defense won't stop your opponent from being able to stop this combo. Or won't allow your opponent to stop this combo. I don't know. I can't speak. But yeah, that's the idea. That's like when I first built the deck, I was like, yeah, this is what it should be centered around completely. This is nice, and having this available is really good, but I think Instinct Surpass is just the better win con and more relevant against more matchups, especially considering some of the floodgates and stuff that exist and how we can answer them. So let's look at. All right. So that's our main deck. We will go into our side deck now. This is, like I said, this is a hard 50. Um, I'm running, what's the count? It's 4, 8, 12. I'm only running 16 Invoker spells, and I'm running 14 other multicolor card. Sorry. It's 17 Invoker spells and 16 multis, then the secret rare, and 12 5Ks in the deck, and 4 sensu beans. So you do have to be very strategic and very calculating about when you're comboing, when you're taking damage. There were a lot of times yesterday I took damage just to get more cards in hand, even though I could have comboed out, because this is a deck that allows you to be in such control of the game that you can pick and choose when you want to take damage. All right, without further ado, let's go into the side deck. All right, side deck. We're playing a second copy of Instinct Surpassed. So this is because there are some decks where I'm just like, they're always going to have the counterplay live. It's not going to be safe to play Rival Seeker at any point. So I'm just going to have to tap 6 for an Instinct Surpassed at one point to try to win the game. So this is just there for those situations. Tyranny's Cost. Now this I could probably try to make room for a second copy of. Tyranny's Cost is nuts against God Trunks and against any other deck that's gonna have a ginormous hand. Golden Frieza being a good example. Tyranny's Cost is they draw 2 if your opponent has 11 or more cards in hand. They bottom deck, or they shuffle cards into their deck until they have 10 in hand. We have our third copy of Death Beam, which we just moved to the side. We have one copy of We're in This Together. This is a cool tech because we can dump it with Friendly Rival Frieza and then pick it up with its own effect, effectively drawing a card off of our Friendly Rival Frieza. It's also a board wipe for 1. Everything 25k or less gets KO'd when you activate this. Like in some matchups, this could be super relevant. I could see it being really good against Pan, for example. And then we run one combination attack just for the surprise factor. Choose one of your, it's activate battle, choose a 5 or less, bounce it, and then choose one red or blue energy, switch it to active mode, so you get to use it for free if you use it off Invoker. The issue with this is your opponents already know not to commit on battle cards because of Death Beam and powers combined. So it doesn't really come up. This would probably get cut for a second copy of Tyranny's Cost. All right, here's a card that I have a theory about, but I don't know how good it is. Against green, specifically Green Gohan, probably, I think I would side out my arrivals altogether and my deadly clashes. Thank you for the follow. And I think I would play 4 copies of this and just up my count on extra cards, because giving my leader Invoker is something green just can't deal with. And if I can give my leader Invoker and then have like 2-3 Sleepy Boys in hand after that, that's insanity. That's such good defense. So this is a card that I have it at 4 on my side. It seems really good in theory, but in my defense, I haven't tested it yet against the matchup I do side it for. So take this with a grain of salt. Don't go buying a playset of this if you don't own it just to test it against green. Yeah, if you're curious, I'll let you know in a week or two how it feels. All right. Next up was the MVP yesterday. I did play against 2 yellow decks, so I sided this in both matchups. Explosive Demon Wave allows us to counter a battle card's counterattack skill, and then at the end of turn untap an energy. It also has the warp itself to check the top card effect, like Death Beam, Royal Condemnation, and Cap Blow. But yeah, the counter to stop riposte when we're trying to swing multiple times with Android 17 is so powerful. So I'd go swing, counter, deadly clash. And yellow just can't deal with that in the early game. I also won both games against yellow because this deck can play without tapping energy, and thus they don't have Gohan Piccolo live. It costs like 2 or 3 for them to combo with. And that was something I didn't anticipate being a huge asset to the deck's viability. So yeah, Demon Wave, really good. Might even go up to like 3 of these, cut one of the MVPs. Demon Wave was nuts yesterday. We played 2 Gohan in the side. In theory, this is for the aggro matchups. Aggro isn't played as commonly right now, and this only works when your opponent has 3 or more energy, but it gives us an Invoker for 1 energy, which is really good, and it has an Activate Battle to untap an energy. So out of nowhere, we can go super combo, play him, use his effect to untap 1, Death Beam, while only sacrificing 1 card out of our hand. So I think he's worth a spot in the side deck. I think he's really good when he comes up, but for the most part, you're just playing your 17s. You don't need him. The final card, and I'm actually going to switch this up a little bit. We play 1 Son Gohan Master Student Technique. This is a blocker that gains barrier, so you can get around Charismatic, because our Gohan that we usually play does have Deflect, but it does not have barrier. So in order to awaken early, we would want to go into Master Student Technique, give it barrier, and then go from there. It's a barrier blocker, so we'll get 2 draws off of it. Yeah. Anyways, the second card is Frieza Unexpected Assistance. This was huge yesterday. I was able to go into my turn 5 with a Cumber STR on the opponent's board and tap 1 for this to bait out the Cumber STR, and then go into my Instinct Surpass play off of the Rival Seeker. Really good, really powerful. Just having a 1 cost to bait out effects is really good, and it's going to proc your leader's draw for 1. So yeah, that's our side deck. That's our deck profile. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back at you soon with more deck profiles and more competitive Dragon Ball content. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.